And hello, everyone. My name is Crystal Myers-Barber. Today is October. It's the 11th, actually, of 2025, because it's after midnight here in Southern California. And I want to discuss this very hot topic that is heavy on my heart. It is about geofencing. And we're going to be covering all kinds of stuff. As you can see, my headline is about churches spying on you, but really a lot of businesses are already doing this. And you're probably asking, what is geofencing? Well, what it is, it's a digital perimeter. It's like invisible. You cannot see it, but it's drawn around certain areas. I would say everywhere. It says a real world area when I look this up. It's like a GPS boundary. And since we're talking about churches, we're just going to say it's a church parking lot for this example. So when someone's phone, this is all about your devices, enter that area, ad networks can record your ID device address, and it will later send these ads to that same device. Sometimes interfere interests or demographics from repeated visits. So advertisers also use it for malls, stadiums, conferences, but using it at this religious site, which is about my video, crosses into much more sensitive territory because it reveals faith-related behavior and it's targeted. If you look at the legal aspects of this, as far as, let's say, the federal law, well, there's no comprehensive U.S. privacy law that bans geofencing outright. The FTC can act if a campaign is deceptive or unfair. You would have to prove it. So the PR firm misrepresents how data is used, and or if people were misled into believing their data was private, the FTC could step in. And so we are, as we all know it, under a surveillance state. America is going deeper and deeper. And we see these companies collecting and using our data. And we get ads. We will get ads, and they're listening to us and watching us, these apps that are actually doing this. But today I want to show you a few things that are of much interest. And with that, I'm going to take us right over to a video right off of Facebook.
Well, as we barrel headlong into a permanent surveillance state in the United States, something disturbing has come to light surrounding the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Days before that event, Isreal reportedly signed a $4 million contract with a California firm called Show Faith by Works. Now, according to new reporting by investigative journalist Brian Ferentz, the same company was behind what they described as the largest Christian geofencing campaign in U.S. history. After the memorial, even Turning Point's Andrew Colvett openly admitted this on the Jesse Waters show, that their tech partners had tracked more than 270,000 phones in and around the stadium. Watch.
Break a little bit of news on your program, Jesse. Our partners that do sort of geotagging with devices, they told us that they tracked over 277,000 devices in the vicinity of State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Wow. 277,000. So that just gives you an idea of the scale of humanity out there. But
yeah, but it also gives you the scale of something darker. Like, how do you know that number? Did these people consent to that? Just so you understand, people who came to the event to mourn Charlie Kirk were digitally tagged under the label of outreach.
No. This is crazy. So I
reach out to these people afterwards.
Okay, let me just see. Let's see if he says anything else. I'm not going to play much more.
And at the same time, reports suggest that Charlie had rejected an enormous financial offer connected to foreign interests, sparking internal turmoil at Turning Points USA. More of that story, I'm sure, will come out. Was this data tracking campaign simply about outreach or something much deeper?
So this whole video can be seen, and I'll tell you who it is. It's under redacted. I know this couple. They're on YouTube, so you can go and see, more of that. But I really want to get into this and show you. This is what launched my search off. Once I heard about this video here, this led me on my search that I have with so much more to show you. This actually took me over to, I guess I can talk about this now, an account under Gen X Girl. She's on X, and she goes on to supply, let's see if I can get back over here, this 38-page document, PDF document that shows this company that is actually performing this. And so it takes a while. I can get the link in here. I will put it into my videos. But what I learned is you have to click on it twice. Twice is a secret. So the first time it'll say the PDF doesn't work. The second time it will work. I see I'm having a little bit of issue with getting this to come up. Come back to that. I'm glad I'm not live. Okay. This led me on a journey, and what I dug up is all this I'm going to show you right now. So the first thing I found was Isreal is spending that. I found the evidence of what redacted that couple was talking about, where they're spending $4.1 million on Christian PR campaign in Western U.S. And the filings they're talking about is exactly this PDF that I'm going to be pulling up. But this came out on August the 3rd of 2025. And the foreign ministry has hired another American firm to run influence operations in the United States. And so basically there's this big marketing campaign that will be aimed at Christians across the western part of the country. The documents filed last week under the Foreign Agents Registration Act reveal that Show Faith by Works, who we just saw about in the first video, will execute what it bills as the largest Christian church geofencing campaign in U.S. history. So this was a newly formed company with a San Diego address, and it's run by Chad Schnitziger, a prominent Christian conservative activist in California. So this is kind of like down the street here where I live in Orange County. So we're talking about San Diego. And it says that this is a new company that was just kind of set up, a couple weeks ago at this point. And they're going to target churchgoers. And you won't believe the list of churches. And they list a few states, but I really think it's way more than the states that, I don't think I've told you that part yet, but I looked into it and I was like, wow. The initiative designed to reach these churchgoers with digital ads that are explicitly pro-Israel and anti-Palestinian, while dispatching a mobile October the 7th experience exhibit to church parking lots and Christian colleges. This campaign adds a new prong to Israel's U.S. communications blitz, complementing a $1.5 million per month contract for AI-driven social media activity with former Trump campaign strategist Brad Parscale, and a contract with a firm called Bridge Partners to create an influencer network called the Esther Project. And I also want to insert, we also learned that there are influencers that Israel is paying $7,000 per post. That is going around. You can research that for yourself. But going back to this, the PR blitz was anticipated after the foreign ministry was allocated $150 million in this year's budget for public relations efforts. But we just read that this is, and so there's $1.5 million per month contract. This is big. Like, they're really coming in strong. And let's see if there's anything else in this article. I don't think there is anything in this article to cover. Yeah, that was it. And so next, I'm going to go over to who are these churches. We're getting closer and closer, and we're seeing that they are. I'll tell you in a sec. Israel has hired, and this is a California-based conservative Christian marketing firm that we just talked about, to run this foreign influence operation. They said they're targeting 4 states. I found evidence that this was more than these. Colorado. Let's see what else. Let me keep going down. I know it's obviously California. Okay, Arizona, Nevada. But I think there's way more. So this is going into more, I've already defined what geofencing is and how they're going to implement this with Wi-Fi or cellular data. And this doesn't have anything to do with when you walk into a building and you get on their Wi-Fi. This is them seeing who you are the minute you come into that geofencing designated location. So because they define this virtual geographical boundary, and they trigger your device when it enters or exits that boundary, which is just crazy, and it's invisible. Like, you have no idea. And this is going on all the time. And this is just like uncovering just a little bit of the strategies of the devil, I feel like, for us to understand, because nobody's really coming out and telling you all this stuff, right? But so they had to file these documents because they're from another country, and they are having to, let people know, at least through this right here. So I went through this article and wanted to understand, what this is about. The ads will be used to influence congregations. According to a slide presentation included in the filing, the campaign will combat low American evangelical Christian approval. So they're targeting evangelicals, and they want the ones that have low approval of the nation of Israel, using biblical arguments to highlight the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians, to educate Christians on the historical importance of Israel and its significance in the region. They want to increase awareness of Palestinian ties to Hamas and support for terrorism within evangelical populations. Notice they're not saying Catholics, they're not saying such and such religion, they're going after evangelical. And they want to counter new and evolving pro-Palestinian messaging as the global narrative shifts. These foreign influence operation comes as a death toll from Israel's war with Palestine has surpassed over 67,000 people since October the 7th, 2023. In August, the World Health Organization reported that more than 500,000 people in Gaza are trapped in famine, marked by widespread starvation, destitution, and preventable deaths. This is tragic. But it goes on to say a ceasefire is an absolute and moral imperative now, said WHO Director General Dr. Tedros, and then the name goes on in an August 22nd news release. And at the same time, separate from this article, after this, President Trump has made a peace deal with Israel and the Middle East and all these places right here that was not known at the time of this article. So this is going on to talk about that ceasefire. We will see this coming Monday if it indeed will go into effect, and they will meet these requirements that President Trump has asked for with the release of hostages and other agreements that have to do with the ceasefire. But a ceasefire is an absolute moral imperative now, said WHO Director General that I just named off. And then it goes and it shows you this is hard to see this little child of starvation, and how could this even be going on? So let's see here. This goes into a lot more political stuff. The group has targeted 32 mega churches in Colorado, including Flatirion's Community Church in Lafayette, with a congregation of 15,495 people and New Life Church in Colorado Springs with a congregation of 12,000 people. This looks like they're targeting really mega churches to me. But as we look into this, and I'm able to bring up the PDF, you will see that this will be churches of all sizes. But we're also talking about this Show Faith by Works, the geofencing campaign. It's also there's a church called Church for All Nations, the Andrew Womack aligned Colorado Springs Church, whose culture impact team leader Ken Davis now serves as a chair of the El Paso County Republican Party, and Golden Red Rocks Church. So we're talking about mega churches here. And I want to just put a side note in. My uncle, who passed away this past December, a year ago at this point, was part of this church. Andrew Womack's church. It's really big. And he was located in Virginia. But going back to this, the plan has budgeted $100,000 for a Colorado staff of 4, a director and deputy, as well as small stipends for students on 2 Christian college campuses who will assist with getting contact information for on-campus clubs, table events, assist in traveling, team deployments, and push for campus pledge drives. This is big money for the people on church staffs. And it also looks like for people in college campuses who can gain quite big amount of money for this. A breakdown of the evangelical denominations participating in Show Faith by Works campaign across the 4 states shows predominantly non-denominational churches and Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant denomination in the U.S. So it looks like they're going for the big guns here. In addition to the geofencing ad campaign, the firm plans to recruit pastors to write op-eds and distribute pastoral resource packages by mail. They're going to hire social media influencers and produce video content, and to tour a portable museum featuring tents, virtual reality headsets, and kiosks designed to immerse audiences in narratives of Israel's conflict with Hamas for a program that will be called the October 7th Experience. And these people that are going to be used to do this are the proposal lists potential Christian celebrities who may be willing to carry its message. Among the list of professional athletes as well will be Denver Bronco Tim Tebow. And so I'm going to click on this because I really, or at least name these off because I do recognize some of these people. We have Chris Pratt, who is a Christian actor. We have John Vaught, who is a Christian actor. Tim Tebow, I think I just told you about. Stephen Curry, Christian basketball player. Clayton Kershaw, Christian baseball player. Now we're getting into the pastors. So we have Pastor Mark Driscoll, who is a mega church pastor. And we have Pastor Rick Warren, who actually retired from a church out here in California. And he was, mega church pastor with big influence, Rick Warren. Pastor Greg Laurie, who is an active pastor here also in Southern California, around nearby in Orange County. He's an active mega church pastor and leader of the Harvest Crusades. We've all heard about Pastor Greg Laurie, and de facto leader of the Calvary Chapel movement. Additional big name pastors, young female Christian college athletes, and influencers are also on the list. And I was just blown away by this article. And I wanted to cover all of this because I thought, wow, this is so interesting, isn't it? To know and learn about all this information. So let's see here. Is that I was able to finally pull up this entire PDF, and the churches that go on and on here are just, there's a lot. There's way too many for me to call out. But I can, let me see if I can at least see the state. I'll go back. I'm going to go back to page, I think it starts on page, it's either 36, 36 or 38. Wow, goes back. Okay, it starts on page 34. Okay, these are all in Arizona. We have California, Colorado, Nevada, Texas. Okay, so I think what I thought when I was seeing all this is I was just amazed at all the churches that were in these states that they're targeting. But okay, they do have Utah. Utah is in here, Wyoming. I knew I'd seen a little more. They have Utah. I wonder if that's the same place that Charlie Kirk was in. Let's see. Not sure. South Mountain Community Church in Utah. Washington Heights Baptist Church in Utah. Okay. And then the rest of them are California. Lots of California. I think if I'm just remembering back, we're looking at all the vineyard churches in California, Calvary chapels. Here it is. Here's a little more. So this is on page 45. So what I'll do is I'll link in the PDF for you to see this on your own so you can understand, the churches. And you can see if you're on the list. For instance, if you live in these areas, you would want to go through and just see. I would want to know, right? Let's see if there's anything else that I can think of before I go. I was hoping we could see. I was really hoping we could see the person who, Jen. Let me see if I can pull her. I'm going to try to pull her up one more time, just because I want to paste. So I'm going to try to pull her up because it was really worth seeing. It really was. Here it is. Yes, I found it. Let's show this. Yes. Yes, I did. I found it. Okay. Right. Gen X Girl. Starting on page 34 are the names of the churches. What I want to do is also come and show you the comments that go along with this. And let's see, only Protestant churches, they know the ancient churches have the fathers, and with the fathers you can't unsee what Israel is, and there's no escaping the reality that the church is biblical Israel, and modern Israel is an inverted imposter. This is what someone puts. Charlie Kirk was a member of Dream City in Arizona, one of the churches listed in this document. And I totally had to share this because someone was talking about how we need flyers posted near these schools and churches alerting people that they're entering a geofence location and they'll be tracked by a foreign government and bombarded with propaganda. Interesting, they are only targeting evangelicals, Protestants, etc. They know Catholics will not fall for this, and it goes on and on about that. Someone put every Calvary chapel, Bethel, Gateway, Vineyard churches, Potter's House, so many Baptists. The reach and planning on this is unbelievable. And honestly, I just have to agree. This is crazy. Like, people don't even know about this. You know what is interesting? We were looking at a year ago, we were watching people's phones explode from, was that Iran? I can't even remember, but someone puts, can they make your phone explode in those geofence locations too? Probably. Anyway, you can kind of go through this. Somebody said it's all the guitar churches. I don't know. I mean, praising God is praising God however you want to do it. I doubt it. I downloaded the files before the link was compromised, October the 4th. That was probably the next day. And so I'm going to make sure I shared this. I think I did. Let's go back. Have to go back, and I'm going to make sure. So I am Promo Girl 07 on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, where they won't let me even get 1,000 followers. But yet my old account had over 3,500 followers, but it did not get restored. So I watch them remove followers all the time. I literally have given up on X. I'm like, almost gonna, no, I'm not gonna, okay, let's move on. So, trying to remember. The address of the registrant, Show Faith by Works, is 1111 6th Avenue, Suite 550 in San Diego, California, 92101. The address of the foreign principal is 9, and it's Yitzhak Yitzchak Rabin Boulevard, Jerusalem, Israel. So that's where this foreign entity is located, and it's called a FARA exhibit. FARA. So basically, this is a contract or an agreement between Show Faith by Works LLC, which was just started recently, a couple weeks ago, and this foreign principal that I just told you about, Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And they have thrown out millions of dollars to do this. And I don't think people know. I don't think people know about it. And so that's why I'm here, wanted to tell you about this. Thank you for watching. Please do let me know your thoughts and if your church is on that list.